Bill Gates today urging the world's 20 major economies to support the popular idea of a financial transaction tax. We used to have one of these in this country from 1914 to the mid-60s. Then they repealed it. The basic idea is a very, very small tax, something like 0.25% on financial trades. National Nurses United marched today in Washington in support of a financial transaction tax. Democrats Tom Harkin of Iowa and Representative Peter DeFazio of Oregon have introduced a bill that would reinstate the financial transaction tax in this country. Worldwide, the idea of doing this globally in all financial markets is getting vocal support from the Archbishop of Canterbury today, from the Pope, who put out an official Catholic Church statement on this last week. Also, conservative German Chancellor Angela Merkel and the conservative French President Nicolas Sarkozy. President Obama talked with Merkel and Sarkozy today about possible bank fees or taxes. And in his book, Confidence Men, and here last night in an interview on this show, author Ron Suskind reports that President Obama at least used to personally support this idea of there being a financial transaction tax. But members of his economic team, specifically Lawrence Summers, apparently strongly pushed against it, and we didn't get one. Well, now Lawrence Summers is gone from the administration, but still, as of today at least, the U.S. officially does not support a global financial transaction tax, even though our allies France and Germany do. Not to mention the Pope. We often hear a critique of the Occupy Wall Street movement that it's not specific enough, that nobody knows what the demands are. Well, here's one. Here's a very specific demand from everybody from the Pope to American nurses to Bill Gates to the German Chancellor. Doesn't that sort of seem doable? Michael Moore is still here with us tonight for the interview. Michael, thank you for sticking around.
Yes, thank you. It's doable. Yes,
it does
it's very
seem
easy
doable,
to do.
Right?
It's so simple. It's not all everybody trying to get their claws into the rich. It's just a half a penny or a quarter of a penny per dollar that's traded on the stock market, or for these derivatives that they're still selling, or these credit default swaps that they're still messing around with. Every time they do this, just a half a penny or a quarter penny goes to the government. This would raise in the United States a minimum of $350 billion a year of extra income. Add that on to the $2 billion a week that we're still spending on the wars. If we could bring the troops home and end that, that's another $100 billion a year. $450 extra billion would go a long way to help things here. And there's no reason that just can't be introduced now. And frankly, the Democrats should do it. And they should push it. And if the Republicans can't go along with this, then let them try and run on that. That this wasn't a tax on Mr. and Mrs. America. This is a half a penny per dollar that's being traded that used to be taxed, that isn't taxed any longer, and it hurts this country.
One of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about this, Michael, is I know not only that you've been visiting so many of the Occupy protests, but also because I know that you think strategically about how America changes on things that we're not supposed to be able to change about. And I wonder how you feel about this issue of the specificity of what the Occupy protesters are asking for. The agenda that we were talking about just a few minutes ago is a very broad but simple agenda that systems should work for not just the rich. But then there's something like calling for that tax, which couldn't be more specific. Do you think that the specificity or the generality of the goals helps in terms of people understanding it? Does it make it more complicated?
Yes, no, and I think that there's a lot of people out there who support Occupy Wall Street and are just waiting for, okay, what's the marching orders here? What are we going to get behind? And a lot of the General Assemblies have already passed resolutions saying that we need to reinstitute Glass-Steagall, that we need to get rid of the Bush tax cuts for the rich, that, you know, there's quite a program that's coming together. This is one of those things that's so easy. Just as we also need to tax if there are FICA tax, Social Security tax is around 7%, but the wealthy after $110,000 pays zero Social Security tax, zero FICA tax. I mean, literally, and you've covered this on your show. I mean, this is just another simple idea. If you're making $40,000 a year, they're taking 7% out of your check for this tax, but the wealthy person has 0% taken out if they make over $110,000. And that's just, it's such a simple idea. And I think the majority of the country would be behind it. Obama said he was behind it at one time. And I think what we need with this movement is we need to keep things broad and keep the discussion going. At the same time, we're going to start focusing on some specific things, and we need to push Congress and the president. We're not going away. This movement is only going to get bigger. You can see by the polls, it just gets more support each week. And I think that, you know, just give the movement a few more weeks. It's only 6 weeks old, and it already has the support of tens of millions of Americans, which is unheard of for a brand new movement in this country. That usually takes decades. So Occupy Wall Street has it already. Now the next steps will take place, and I got to tell you, I hope I'm not being Pollyanna here, but I'm just very optimistic that some good things are going to come out of this. But there's going to be pushback from Congress and from these corporations, but it's too late. They overplayed their hand. They got too greedy. The people aren't going away.
6 weeks old and already talking. That's the way I like to think of it. Michael Moore, filmmaker and author of the new book, Here Comes Trouble, Stories from My Life. Michael, thank you so much for making time to talk to us tonight. Really appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you so much, and everyone in Denver thanks you too, here, Rachel.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
All right, we will be right back.